Welcome to Arise and Shine podcast. My name is Sherry Burgraff, and today, as you are listening to these words, there's a 13-year-old child somewhere who is being sexually abused, who believes the system will protect them. They don't know yet that powerful people in Utah just made it easier for their abuser to walk free. They don't know that when they find the courage to speak their truth, they might watch their perpetrator serve barely a week in jail while they carry a lifetime of trauma. This is not hypothetical. This happened in Utah. And if we stay silent, it will happen again elsewhere. This podcast is a call to action. This Sunday, August 17th at 4:00 p.m. Mountain Time, the Utah State Capitol will either witness a moment of awakening or another day of complicity. We are calling every parent who has ever tucked their child in bed, believing they were safe. Every survivor of ritual abuse who has been told to stay quiet, to move on, to stop making waves. Every person who refuses to accept that power protects predators, while innocence is sacrificed on the altar of political convenience. This is not just a press conference. This is not just a rally. This is a reckoning. This is our line in the sand. Because SB213, the law that just made it easier to plea down child rape charges, didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened because a powerful lawmaker's relative needed protection, and the system bent to provide it. Let me be crystal clear about what we're facing. The age of consent in Utah is still 18. Children under 14 cannot legally consent under any circumstances. But here's the devastating reality of SB 213, what it accomplished. When an 18-year-old sexually assaults a 13-year-old child, if the person is in high school, the 18-year-old, prosecutors can now choose to charge them not with first-degree child rape carrying 25 years to life and mandatory sex offender registration, but with a third-degree felony called unlawful sexual activity. That's not a technical adjustment. That's a dismantling, deliberate obstruction of justice for our most vulnerable. The timing tells the whole story. Allegedly, Stuart Adams, one of Utah's most powerful lawmakers, pushed for this change right after his own 18-year-old relative was charged with multiple counts of child rape and sodomy involving a 13-year-old. Adams claims the law wasn't retroactive, but prosecutors, defense attorneys, and even the judge acknowledged that the new law was the pivotal factor in the plea deal. The result? Instead of decades behind bars, Adams' relative served just over 1 week in jail, spent about a year and a half on house arrest, avoided sex offender registration entirely, and walked away with probation and fines. Meanwhile, a 13-year-old child and their family watch the system choose political protection over their pain. The mother of that child said she felt blindsided and betrayed. Is it any wonder? She said the system failed her son. They did. She said it felt like special treatment was given. It was. And that no one in power was going to say anything about it. Her words can haunt every single one of us. The system failed my son. How many more children will the system fail while we stay comfortable in our silence? There have been too many child abuse victims who grew up to be survivors without any justice and who were failed too. I'm one of them. This isn't about me, and this isn't just about one case. If you've been following the We Are the People podcast with Jason and Alexia Preston, you've witnessed a horrifying pattern in Utah where perpetrators, especially those with connections, those with power, those who know how to manipulate the system, get more protection than the victims. There are civil suits against innocent people and stalking injunctions against people for talking about someone, not to someone. Evidence of the corruption of the law being used as warfare against those who allow survivors to speak out to protect those who are corrupt. That is what is happening. This specific rally and conference is about lawmakers who can shape laws in ways that so soften the consequences for the accused, while survivors are left then to carry lifelong trauma in silence. This is about a system that tells ritual abuse survivors that they're making it up, that they're involved in conspiracy theories, and that trafficking victims are just unreliable witnesses, that tell children their pain matters less than protecting the reputations of those who destroyed their innocence. A 13-year-old cannot consent, period. No technical adjustment, no legal maneuvering. The political influence changes that fundamental truth. And when a child is harmed, the law should throw everything it has at the perpetrator, not hand them a roadmap to lesser consequences. SB213 sent a message that will echo through every courthouse, every prosecutor's office, every defense attorney's strategy session. What it says is if you have the right connections, there's a way to lessen the impact. It told every survivor, your trauma is negotiable. Your justice is conditional. Your voice matters less than their comfort. This is not acceptable. It is evil. On Sunday, you will hear from warriors who refuse to be silenced. The speakers at the rally are Sherelle Mendenhall, Mrs. United States 2024, an anti-trafficking advocate who knows that beauty pageants mean nothing if we can't protect the beautiful, innocent children in our communities. Mike Glover, veteran and activist, who didn't serve his country so that powerful politicians could serve themselves at children's expense. Jason Preston, activist and podcast host, who has been exposing this corruption when others choose comfortable silence. Survivors Ashley Smith and Mary Beth Lawn, whose courage to speak truth to power puts every silent politician to shame. These voices are calling out corruption by name. They are demanding that Utah's legislature protect children, not predators. They are refusing to let another generation of survivors carry their trauma alone while their abusers walk free. To every survivor listening, if you can find the strength, come and stand with us. We want the public, the press, and lawmakers to see your faces, not as victims, but as living proof that you exist. You have a face. You are not just a statistic. You are real. You are here. And you too deserve justice. Your silence was never weakness. It was survival. But if you can find your courage to come and stand this moment in this monumental history, we need your voice just by standing there. The children need it. Because when survivors stand together, when we refuse to be invisible, the powers that be can no longer pretend that this abuse and corruption doesn't exist. By standing together, you are voicing that you are no longer going to be silenced, and neither am I. Even though I can't fly to Utah to join you in person, I am standing with you from Iowa. because this kind of corruption, this protection racket for the well-connected, while survivors are gaslit into silence, is not contained to Utah's borders. It's here in Iowa. It's in your state. It's wherever power consolidates and decides that some children are worth less protection than others. I speak out because I know what happens when good people choose comfort over courage. And I am calling on every person listening. Pray for these survivors. Stand with them. Demand that this law be repealed and that every lawmaker who prioritizes political convenience over child protection face the consequences at the ballot box. What's happening in Utah is an abomination. Laws are being shaped, bent, and broken by those in positions of power, often behind closed doors, with little public awareness until another child will pay the price. If it can happen in Utah, in broad daylight, with clear connections between the lawmaker and the beneficiary, it can happen anywhere, and it is happening everywhere. The only way to stop it is for everyday people, parents who love their children more than they fear confrontation, grandparents who remember when justice meant something, citizens who refuse to accept that power trumps innocence. Stand up, speak out, and refuse to accept anything less than full protection for our children. If you are in Utah, show up at the Capitol this Sunday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Bring your family and friends. Stand where lawmakers can see you so they know their comfortable silence is ending. Make them look into the faces of people who will not accept their excuses. If you are outside Utah, share this rally information on every platform you have. Call Utah lawmakers and demand the repeal of SB213's weakening provisions. Watch your own state laws like a hawk, because if similar bills are being quietly introduced, you need to sound the alarm before another child pays the price. Support survivor-led organizations and anti-trafficking organizations in your community, like Relentless Hope at relentlesshopeforyou.org, because survivors need resources, not just sympathy. We are at a moment of choice. We can continue to live in a world where children's innocence is negotiable, where survivors are silenced, where ritual abuse and trafficking are dismissed as conspiracy theories, while the predators walk among us, protected by power and silence. Or we can decide enough is enough. If you believe a child's innocence is worth more than a politician's comfort, be at the Utah State Capitol this Sunday, August 17th at 4 p.m. Stand with survivors who have found the courage that you might still be searching for. Stand for the truth that powerful people desperately want buried. Stand for justice that the system keeps postponing. Because when the law fails to protect our children, when the system chooses predators over innocence, when silence becomes complicity, it is time to arise and protect ourselves. This is not about politics. This is about protecting our children. This is not about political parties. This is about predators and the system that shields them. We will not be silenced. We will not look away. We will not accept another generation of survivors carrying trauma while their abusers are protected. And we will not stop until every child is safe, every survivor is believed, and every perpetrator, no matter how connected, no matter how powerful, faces the full force of our voices and the full force of justice. I'm writing a training program called Project Justice to equip counselors and clergy and law enforcement and others to know how to spot this stuff and remember that when you choose courage and you choose children, you can choose to stand. Sunday, Utah State Capitol, 4 p.m. Be there. It's time to arise and shine. Thank you for watching Arise and Shine podcast.